like, you don't know any Bachelor. I'm like, no, I've broke bread with one of them. So,
Dude, does the story have anything to do with, I had Dave Mercer on the show and he pulled out the picture of you, me, him, Van Dam, and Aaron Martin's all at the Win Encore in
oh
in
God.
the iCast. He pulled out the picture. It's going to be on right here. I'm going to put it on right here early in the show. But I got the Mercer hooked me up with the Van Dam Zona, Aaron Martin's, me and you hanging out at the Penthouse at the Encore Beach Club in Las Vegas because that's where iCast was that year. Was that the story you told?
Byron, no, I had forgot about that story. And boy, there's a few things from that story that I can go into.
No.
One of them being, I need to say this just because obviously, look, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, but for the last 4 decades, you know where I live. I live in the middle of nowhere. Like
Right.
there is a stoplight. So what was funny was Karen, the Scorpion, was at that party. I'll never forget this at the Win. Is I walked. You're you're getting people in. You're being a great host. You're getting people, shuffling them through the barrier and the line and coordinating everything. And and I went to get a cocktail and I went in the bathroom. True story. This is a true story. At the urinal, it said no sex at the urinals, and I went, wait. I mean,
What are you missing? What?
wait, what? Wait, hold on. And dude, it had like, you know how there's a male and a female, and it had like a diagram.
No.
And I thought at first, well, hell, this is a joke. But there was like 8 of them throughout the bathroom. I'm like, hey, the only reason there's a sign there is that must go on here quite often.
And it had the circle with the line through it and the two little stick
Yes,
figures saying
yes.
no copulation for the
One.
non-English speaking.
So then I went out, my naive self, I went out and I told Karen what I had just seen. And she's like, what does that mean? And I said, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Oh my gosh, as if
No,
there's a
this,
problem.
I guess. Boy, man. Listen, I'm having lightning bolts. I'm thinking about things that happened that evening because that evening went, and I'm a 10 o'clocker. That evening went really late. Like it went all the way to my flight the next
Yep.
day.
Yep.
The
We
story, Byron, the story I told my neighbor was when Bass Center and Loudmouth Bass started. You and I already knew each other. We knew each other from your regional tournaments, my regional. You kind of knew who was doing good throughout regions of the country, basically cherry pickers. That's how we started in tournaments. We went to you went to tournaments, you
Yeah.
thought you could dominate and blah, blah, blah. So Bass Center and Loudmouth Bass starts, and it was right in the heat of your bachelorism
Yep.
life that
Yep.
was going on, right?
Yep.
And I was just newly married, not newly married, but I was, I'm 5 years into this marriage. And I'll never forget this. You're like, hey, you want to go to the bar and get some sushi or a cocktail? I'm like, well, I don't do the sushi stuff, but I said, I'll get a cocktail with. So we're sitting there and we go in this bar. And listen, I want all of your viewers and listeners to close your eyes right now. Just close your eyes. So I'm sitting at the bar with who's, for me, it's just my buddy. Dude, I didn't look at you like your profile picture holding that rose. All right? I looked at you as a dork.
You're
So
fishing, buddy. Yeah.
my fishing buddy, but all of a sudden you could tell there's a groundswell of Charlotte, North Carolina, fairly, really, really good looking chicks start to get closer and closer and closer. Close your eyes, viewers, closer and closer and closer to the bar. And here's the first thing that went through my head. Why were you not the bachelor when I was single? Sorry, that's a self-centered one right there. And the best thing was they're all talking to you, and I'll never forget this. There's a little brunette chick, and she looks at me and she goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, I was the cast off." I said, "I made it down to like number 4 on the Bachelor show." But I said, bye. And she goes, and she literally, this was so degrading. She goes, "Really?" That is a true story. That is a true